Good day. You have chosen another video, which is still under the topic about controls and fraud risks. And for now, we this is our second video, the continuation of the discussion that we had, specifically for the internal control system, and then we will continue with this video. And we're gonna talk about everything about classifications of control. And yep, uh, another, yeah, I don't know, kaumay, ilang videos na. So yeah, I'm your lecturer for today, your reviewer for today. I'm Kevin. You can call me just Kevin. Kevin will do. Currently, I'm an audit manager in RCBC. I am also a part-time special lecturer in FEU, and here also in the Excel Knowledge Institute there. And just to share with you our learning objectives is number one, we will discuss to you kung ano ba yung magiging role ni IAA or ni internal auditor on how are we going to evaluate and improve yung effectiveness of control process. And then the second one, we will know how to identify different classifications of controls. Um, Actually, this is really important. This specific learning objective is really important. Aside from the exam, it is really relevant, and this is gonna be useful for you when you start working na. When you start working as an internal auditor, or for some reviewees or audience here, yung mga nag-work na, we will understand more kung saan tayo mag-focus na controls, how do we classify it, and if ever magkaroon man tayo ng output like the recommendation, we will know ano dapat yung magiging recommendation natin. And then lastly, the same way, I will be sharing with you some CIA questions. Some are actual CIA questions, some are not. But what I'm gonna focus on is how are we going to discuss, or I mean, how can we explain bakit ito yung tamang sagot, and then I'll give you tips as well. Okay? Okay, so going back to the very start is the function, or how do we define our work. So again, external auditing is an independent objective assurance and consulting activity designed to add value and improve an organization's operations. So just remember again for the first sentence, we only provide two service. Otherwise, if you're providing other than the two service here, most likely may concern tayo dyan. There might be implications from the standards, specifically for the attribute standard. I hope na-discuss to ng ibang lecture. Anyway, again, we only provide two services. Number one, we provide our main function is to provide assurance service. And then, due to the need, due to the advancement of technology, and at the same time, advancement of risk, we also provide consulting service. There. And again, at the end of the day, our main focus is again to add value. So given that, how can we add value? So it states on the second sentence, it helps an organization accomplish its objectives by bringing a systematic, disciplined approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of risk management, control, governance process. As you can see, the first video that we had is the governance. We are done with that. We have explained everything here. Why is it really important to know more first the governance, and then understanding more of our roles to the governance. And then we're also done with the risk management. We have learned everything about risk management, what's our role to the risk management. And then the first video that we had for the control is the internal control system. We have defined control. We have learned different types of framework that are that are acceptable globally, and we focus on the cost of framework. So we will proceed on that. Yeah. Medyo shortcut ko na tong part na to. Anyway, so again, at the end of the day, again, the main focus or the main function of the internal auditor, again, is to add value. And for us to add value, we need to know the three areas that we need to focus on is, again, number one, that's governance, number two is risk management, and then number three is the control. At the end of the day, the similarity of these three areas are, again, reaching or achieving the objective of an organization or a company. That is why, if we know how to evaluate, if we know how to improve the effectiveness of these three areas, therefore we can help, therefore we can add value to the company or to the organization. Yep, internal control. Uh, Another illustration again. um, I hope everything is okay. I mean, maybe most of you are working from home or staying at home right now. So, nakakamiss din na magkaroon ng, I mean, gumising na maaga para pumasok sa office. Especially if you're working in Makati. Or actually even BGC. It really needs time for you to go there. So, nakakamiss din gumising na maaga. Anyway, 5 months na rin, no? Yeah. 5 months na rin, well, ako. It's been 5 months since I started working from home. Yun, hindi kami nire-require kasi mag fieldwork sa mga branches, bawal. And then sa teaching ko din, bawal lang face-to-face class. Anyway, so again, the objective is to wake up early. So assumption is you're going to school or to your work, or maybe kunwari walang COVID. So dapat today nasa classroom tayo, or I should say nasa review room tayo ng Excel siya. So if you're coming from Cavite, Laguna, or saan mang malayong lugar, maraming oras na kailangan for you to go to Excel siya, yung office namin. So, yan, 4:30 example. Syempre, yung mga risks natin dyan, as we have defined before, yung oversleeping and then insomnia. So, most likely, if you had this, most likely baka hindi ka magising na maaga. So, therefore, hindi ka makakapasok. And we have discussed this as well, that syempre, ikaw nagbayad ka ng review fee mo or whatever ka naman yung tawag doon. Ayaw mo masayang yung binayad mo, kaya you need to implement, you need to have controls for you to mitigate yung mga risk. Again, we cannot eliminate risk, we only mitigate yung risk. So given that, you have implemented such controls like to set up an alarm, inom ka ng milk if it's working for you, or maybe you inform other people para gisingin ka. And then the governance part is your parents wherein hindi mo man sinabi but they are there to guide you, or maybe asawa mo or jowa mo na kasama mo na minomotivate ka, or maybe sinesermonan ka for you to stick with your goal. Kung ano man yun, which is gumising ka na maaga, pumasok ka para accomplish yung review, and then most likely mag-CI ka soon. Yan. And again, as per the standard ISPPIA 2100 Nature of Work, the internal audit activity must evaluate and contribute to the improvement of the organization's governance, risk management, and control processes, using a systematic, discipline, and risk-based approach. Internal audit credibility and value are enhanced when auditors are proactive and their evaluations offer new insights and consider future impact. So here, aside from the definition na sinasabi, for us to add value to the company or to the organization, we need to know the three areas, which is yung nga, paulit-ulit, the GRC, the governance, risk management, and the control, that is stated in the definition. And at the same time, for the ISPPIA, so we have learned from the ISPPIA, di ba? We need to follow this, especially ikaw, na you wanna be a CIA soon, we need to follow. So, as stated by the Performance Standard 2100, dapat, we must evaluate, we must provide contribution to improve yung tatlo. Governance, risk management, and control. So, dito lang talaga iikot yung work natin, yung nature of work natin. So, we have discussed yung governance, we have discussed yung risk management, now we're under control. So, reiteration lang of the three lines of defense. Since we're talking about control, so most likely we're gonna talk the first line of defense, since they are the one primarily who are taking and accommodating yung risk, and at the same time they are the one who is implementing yung mga controls, most likely pero syempre may controls din sa second line. So there, we will discuss some classifications, how are we going to identify such, how, how can control can be used as a defense. Okay, just reiteration again, the definition of control: any action taken by management, the board, and other parties to manage risk and increase the likelihood that established objectives and goals will be achieved. So, at the end of the day, control is under the responsibility of the management, not the board. And even not us. Hindi tayo kasama dyang internal audit. We're not. So, that's why we are studying yung control. How can you audit a specific, not a specific area or specific topic if you don't know it? Kumbaga, ang ano ba? Ang golden rule, Ang golden rule natin sa audit, you need to know first yung i-audit mo bago ka maka-audit, bago mo masabi yung opinion mo sa in-audit mo. So given that, we are studying control for us to fully understand how does the management implement, how does the management plan, and hanggang dulo, hanggang how do they monitor controls, and everything goes there. And the board is just there to guide, provide direction, and then oversight. As you have learned from the governance process, it's it's one of their major components, which is oversight. And then the other one is strategic direction. And then other parties, which is the frontline personnel, are your first line of defense. And then us, internal audit activity, internal auditor, our main role again is to evaluate, and then we can also monitor for some limitations, but it can be done also by the management as well. Most likely, these are the second line of defense who are implementing and monitoring these controls. Right, so let's move on to the main topic that we are going to discuss.